Hi, welcome to Psycrant. Today we will be exploring how the movie Split depicts dissociative identity disorder, or DID, and whether they get it right. DID is a disorder characterized by the presence of two or more distinct personality states, and studies show it can affect anywhere from 0.01% to 15% of people. It has been previously called multiple personality disorder or split personality disorder, hence the name for this movie, Split. Before I get started, I have to say that this was an entertaining movie and I enjoyed the plot. Also, James McAvoy was such an amazing actor and he portrayed the different personalities so well. But that doesn't mean this movie gets it 100% correct. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So for those who haven't seen this movie, it's mainly centered around Kevin, who has an extreme case of dissociative identity disorder and has 23 distinct personalities residing in his mind. One of his personalities, Dennis, is seen kidnapping three girls, Casey, Claire and Marsha, and he takes them to a basement or dungeon. The personalities Dennis and Patricia believe that a 24th personality called the Beast is coming. The Beast is thought to be a superhuman of some sort with extreme strength. It's revealed that in order for the Beast to arise, he will need to feed on impure young, which is why these girls have been kidnapped. As the movie comes to an end, the Beast is seen to come forth and he feeds on the two girls, Claire and Marsha, despite their efforts to escape. He doesn't end up feeding on Casey as she's thought to be pure and broken, and he runs away unharmed despite Casey shooting at him, which shows his supernatural abilities. Talking about the portrayal of the disorder, as I mentioned before, we're told that Kevin Crumb is diagnosed with DID and that he has 23, soon to be 24 personalities. We are told that each of these personalities are sitting at the back of Kevin's mind and are waiting to come to the light, which is when the personality will be given control of Kevin's body. Of these personalities, we're introduced to 7 throughout the movie. Just a side note, I will be referring to the different personalities as alters. So the first alter, Barry, is described as an extroverted leader with a talent for fashion and design. We find out that Barry was in control of which altar was able to come to the light. This was up until Kevin was recently traumatized when two girls pranked him at the zoo he works in, where they put his hand under their shirts. At this point, Barry lost the ability to choose who had control over Kevin's body. Then we have Dennis, who is portrayed as a cold, tough man with obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD. And he's shown to have a liking to watch young girls dance naked. He's seen to be one of the main antagonists in this movie, along with Patricia, and collectively these two are referred to as the Horde from the other alters. Patricia is shown to be a sophisticated and orderly woman. It's revealed that these two, the Horde, were banned from the light from the other alters due to their beliefs about the Beast and because of Dennis's perversion towards young girls. Next, we're introduced to Hedwig, who is a 9-year-old boy that is shown to be trusting and innocent, and who Casey is often trying to befriend. Hedwig explained to Casey that he now has the ability to come to the light anytime he wants, and Barry no longer has control. Even though this wasn't properly explained as to why this has changed, it can be assumed that this shifted after the prank by the girls at the zoo. The psychologist Karen explains that this may have left Kevin confused and might have triggered him to re-experience this physical abuse from his childhood. This might explain why Hedwig now has control, as Kevin may have shifted to a childlike mindset due to the re-traumatization. We also get to see glimpses of the other alters, Jade and Orwell, when Casey watches videos from them on Kevin's computer. Jade is shown to be a young woman who has diabetes and has to take insulin shots, and Orwell is shown to be a very scholarly man who expresses disagreements with the Horde and their views. Finally, we get introduced to the Beast, the 24th personality, who's shown to be violent, has a taste for blood, and has a view that the rest of humanity are impure because they had not suffered like him. It is later revealed that the beast is an amalgamation of multiple animals in the zoo that Kevin worked in. Later on in the movie, we find out that when Kevin was a child, his father had abandoned him on a train, leaving him in the care of his mother. His mother also struggled with OCD and expected Kevin to keep the house clean and tidy, despite him being only 3 years old. When Kevin would fail to do so, she was physically abusive towards him. As a way of coping, the alter Dennis was developed to keep the house clean and tidy, explaining why this alter has obsessive-compulsive traits. As Kevin's mother continued the abuse, he began developing more personalities as a defense mechanism. In summary, these are the features portrayed for Kevin's DID. He has 24 personalities, he has trauma in his childhood as a possible origin, and his alters have different physical attributes. So, going into what this movie gets correct and incorrect about their depiction of DID. In my opinion, they did a pretty accurate representation of DID. As I explained before, it is thought to be a disruption of identity characterized by 2 or more distinct personality states, which fits in with Kevin's portrayal as he has 24 alters. Secondly, even though the exact cause of DID is not fully understood, research shows a strong link between the disorder and trauma. A person is thought to be at high risk of developing DID if they experience recurring abuse or neglect in early childhood. Since Kevin was exposed to a physically abusive environment in his childhood, the origin of the development of the disorder is accurate. Studies have also shown that different alters may present physical differences, such as allergies, right or left-handedness, or the need for eyeglass prescriptions. So the thought of one of his alters having diabetes while the rest of them don't is plausible. Another feature of DID is thought to be memory lapses of everyday events or of important personal information that is not consistent with ordinary forgetting. I actually wasn't too sure if this was portrayed in the movie, but I thought it was worth mentioning. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. So the next question is if the movie got anything wrong in their depiction of DID. Honestly, even though it is an entertaining movie, there are some things that can have harmful effects for people living with this disorder. Firstly, one of the biggest problems is that Kevin is introduced as a violent character. He's seen drugging, stalking, kidnapping, and eventually killing people. This notion of individuals with DID being violent is incorrect. Research has found individuals with DID, due to their exposure of trauma and violence, are far more likely to be re-victimized and be victims of violence and abuse. The movie's depiction just creates stigma for people with DID because people who have no connection to the disorder get scared of people with this disorder, and it may reduce the people with DID symptoms from reaching out for help. So you might be wondering, is there anything we can do? I think being informed is the most important thing we can do. Watching this video was a great start so that we can be more aware of people's experiences with DID. We can also encourage people who may be struggling with DID to seek help and just listen to them and their struggles without judgment or providing advice. Just the simple act of listening without judgment can do so much more for a person than we think. That's it for this video, guys. I have left all the articles and references I have used for this video down in the description box below, so you guys can go check it out if you'd like. If you guys were interested in this video or want more content like this, please consider subscribing. If you have any suggestions for the next video, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. Thank you, and see you next time!